Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Omilade, here to share a word of inspiration with you on your path to self-realization and self-mastery. Today is August the 2nd. How's everybody doing out there? August 2nd, 2019. So I hope that you all had a great new moon experience. I've learned from one of the astrologers that I learned from that actually, when you can first see the light of the moon, that's the actual new moon, y'all. The dark moon, that is the new moon phase, but the work begins. The work begins. Am I on? Looks like I am. The work begins when you can see the light of the moon. I made a post today. Did you see the post that I made here on YouTube today? It's a screenshot from the full moon app that I use of showing that we can now see the light of the moon. It's time for us to start moving forward on whatever the intentions that we have set for this time or for this lunar cycle. I hope that the Leo season is going well for you all. I haven't really pushed that Leo course much, but the Leo course is still up for sale. I actually plan on taking the course down probably in about a week. So just to let you know, I'll have to put the information in the the information box below on this video if you are interested. If any of you out there have bought it and you're watching this video, I appreciate you for doing that because I have a new commitment, which I do this anyway, but I just wanted to do something special to put my money where my mouth is. And so 10% of any money I take in. So if you get a reading from me, or if you buy a course from me, if you are part of my inner circle at Patreon, I am definitively giving 10% of all of that money to Heifer International, which is who I donate to help empower people who are in poverty be able to be self-sufficient. So just wanted to let you all know, thank you. Thank you for buying the course. So yeah, I have an inner circle where I share, my deeper readings, my deeper teachings. I create courses. I share my content there first. Some I share publicly and some is only in the inner circle. So you can check that out at patreon.com/Goddess Body Mind Spirit. And you can get in for as little as $5. I am sort of like, first and foremost, I'm coming off having had a cold this week. It's been a rough week for me. That's why I didn't log on. I really did want to log on the day of the new moon, but I just didn't feel well. So I just didn't. I've had to teach this week. So it's been a rough week. I've had to teach fitness this week. So it's been rough. I am getting better, thankfully. And I just wanted to get on and sort of share, like, I've just been thinking to myself, first and foremost, I hope that you're having a great Leo season. I hope that you are actually feeling special, that you are feeling your greatness within, that you're doing things to really maximize this time of, heightening your confidence and belief in yourself, and knowing that your special gifts, your special gifts and talents that are unique to you are a blessing to the world. We need you to do them, right? But also I wanted to get on and talk about how I remember what it was like back in the early days of me getting on this particular portion of my spiritual journey. And I'm relating that to Mercury in Cancer. So this Cancer season has been huge this year. It's just been full. It's been so impactful. And part of the reason is not just that planets have been in Cancer, but they're also planets in Capricorn, and that we've had eclipses in both Cancer and Capricorn, plus Mercury retrograded. So this Cancerian season this year has been full. For those of you who are Cancer rising, sun, or moon, and also Capricorns, you may be feeling like you have been through the ringer. And my heart goes out to you if that's how you feel. Because it has been an impactful season and it's not even over. And so Mercury has gone direct the same day as the new moon. Mercury went direct. And so people are like, oh, Mercury's, out of retrograde. We're free and clear. I saw something that was so funny. It said something to the effect of Mercury is out of retrograde. So now I can officially start taking the blame for anything that is screwed up in my life. I just think that is so funny. But the truth of the matter is that Mercury is out of retrograde and it's in what is called the shadow period. And the shadow period is the time for us because Mercury went across some degrees. And once it went retrograde, it went backwards. And then now it's moving forward across these same degrees in both Cancer and Leo. There's some lesson in this. To me, like initially when I started working with astrology, it didn't feel very spiritual, though I like the predictive aspect of astrology. But the more I learn, the more I'm beginning to realize how we can actually utilize astrology, to take it to a very deep place, to use it to create lots of internal change. And one of the things that I've been teaching the people who are a part of my inner circle, who get the readings, is that the planets are invisible. We have a lot of invisible planets, and we have a lot of retrograde planets. And so a lot of the change that we are going through right now is internal. And I want you to really stop and take a moment, if you would, to think about what is it that has been coming up for you over the last month or so. What thoughts? And when it comes to Cancer, it's going to be related to home, family, ancestors, emotions. And Cancer, because it's about home and family, there's this nostalgic aspect to it. There's this aspect to it that's about the remembering. People who have a lot of Cancer energy sometimes may find that they're really into history, that they're actually historians, because Cancer has to do with history. It's one of the signs that has to do with history. And so it might be something in our memory. When I relate this to the goddess Yemoja, when we look at it from Aset governs our memory. This is the same energy as Cancer, the energy of the mother. It governs our memory. And the question is, what are you remembering and why? And so as I think about what is it that I need to come on and talk to people about, because y'all know me, I'm not about just running my mouth. I can, but I could be doing so many other things other than just yapping for the sake of yapping so I can say I made content. I really want to come on and give you something of value. And so one of the things that I want to begin to share, because a lot of people, oh, hello. Well, I'm glad you caught me. I'm glad you caught me live. One of the things that I think about when I hear from a lot of you is, it's a scary thing. I'm new to this path. I don't really know what to do. I'm new. I don't know what to do, right? And so it's conjuring up for me as I, connect with this energy of Mercury in the shadow period, trying to integrate what are the lessons of Mercury right here, right now, as it's like really trying to set in us a lesson that we have been getting over the last 6 weeks or so. And so for me, it's making me think of things that I can share with you that I think will be helpful. And part of that is the history of my story, because y'all are catching me 15, almost 20 years down the path. Well, I really almost 20, because my older son is 19, and I got on this path really about 20, a little bit before I got pregnant with him. So to start out with, one of the things I'll tell y'all is, before that, my path started when I was about 24, when it became a little more conscious. As a child, I always was a little bit different in the way that I understood God. And I wasn't raised up in a super religious family, although I went to church my whole life. My mom wasn't mega religious or anything like that. So it allowed my mind to just sort of like be whatever it was going to be and think whatever it was going to think about God. But even as a little girl, I had some concept of the ancestors, even though I didn't have I didn't understand what the ancestors were. I just knew that there were some people who would talk to me. And for me, it was always thoughts. I would always get some type of thought. I would hear a voice, but I wouldn't know necessarily where it came from. And I remember being the teenager who thought there is no hell. I would tell people, even though I was steep in the church, at that point I was Catholic. That's the church that my mother took me to. And I just would tell people, yeah, I just don't believe there's a hell. I cannot believe God is sending people to hell. If God is all knowing, God knows why we're doing what we're doing. Why would God send us to hell? And all my friends were like, girl, you are crazy. And so, and another pivotal thing for me was my mother worked for a doctor. She was a nurse. She worked for a doctor who was Hindu. And she sort of like dropped things in my mind, like, I cannot believe Dr. Annan's going to hell. He's one of the most loving, godly people I know. And just things like that transformed me. And it kept me from being too fixed in one way. I never, ever fully, even though went through the motions and said, I believe, and I would confess and just do all the things that we do within the Christian tradition, not just from Catholicism, but also, I love the Baptist church. I also like the AME. I had some friends that were part of the AME church. I like the AME. But it wasn't until I left home and started being exposed to other things, other people, that made me say, you know what? Something's calling me. I've got to answer this call. And it was around this time that I started, because once I began to understand the the transatlantic slave trade, that's what made me start saying, I'm really questioning Christianity. I don't know about this Christianity, if this is the white man's religion. And it made me ask the question, what did my ancestors do before slavery? And many people were like, who cares? What difference does it make? We're here now. So like, just be Christian. And I was like, I can't get settled with that. I need to know. Slowly but surely, once I hit my mid-20s, I started meeting people who knew a little bit about Ifa. And of course, in Atlanta, I went to Spelman College in Atlanta. I was exposed to all the Nation of Islam brothers and sisters there. And I just started opening up. And like so many people back in the day, before Iyanla Vanzant was who she is today, and Iyanla Vanzant was like godmama to a lot of us. I started off with her book, Tapping the Power Within. Queen Afua was sort of like another one that I looked to, but hers had more to do with eating. But she helped me to see a little bit of insight into the Kemetic or Egyptian traditions. And so, I just slowly but surely began to open myself up. And of course, I was a vegetarian vegan for a little while. And so, that takes us into like meeting people who are into energy work and all that kind of good stuff. I just slowly but surely started opening up. But Iyanla was the one that really and truly began to introduce the Afro traditions to me in a way that made sense. And it started with blessing the head and pouring libations to my ancestors. And perhaps to a certain degree, this is why I talk about those so much. It's imprinted in me. And so I was like, she called it ancestral veneration. And I'm like, Nah. I don't know about this. I don't know about this, Iyanla. And so initially I wasn't even doing it. I just sort of read her book and saw that. The head blessing made a little bit more sense to me, just because I don't know. It just made sense to me. And so I probably started doing that a little bit more. And then I was around people who are a little bit more open. Also, we're all like graduate students at this point. I was newly married. I even went out and bought got all these books about Islam from the library, because I was like, I know something is calling me, but I don't know what it is. And my husband, who is definitely a Christian then and now, was like, what are you doing? We just got married and you studying Islam? So I just packed up all the books, took them back or whatever. But I still had all these friends that I hung out with that were different, that showed me a different way. But what really started making me say, I have to answer this call, was my mother died. And so once mama died, I was in excruciating pain. And so, yeah, I was like, this is the worst pain I've ever felt my whole entire life. And that's when I was so desperate to make a connection to my mom. And whatever people were telling me, like with people within the church were telling me, just pray, it's gonna be okay. That wasn't working for me. I was like, I've got to connect with my mom. So I'm gonna put these libations. And I even had met this priestess who was like, your mom isn't gone. Your mom is hanging around you. She's your ancestor. That just resonated with me, right? Even though at that time I was still professing Christianity, going to church, even though I was feeling uncomfortable with it, that made me feel comfortable. That made me feel like it brought peace to my mind. Started pouring those libations, and I just felt right. I just felt better. And I noticed when I poured the libations, I felt better. And when I didn't do them, I didn't feel better. I didn't feel well. And so I would start pouring the libations again, and I felt better. And I set up my little altar and all that kind of good stuff. And this is even in the face of my husband being like, what the hell? Hey, how are you? Even with my husband looking at me like, what are you doing? And I was just like, I gotta do what I gotta do. And I noticed too, the head blessing, that made me feel better. And so I just kept going along with it. And so for me, I really got started on this journey out of pain, out of desperation for wanting to connect with my mom. And what my mother's death showed me was how much I was attached to her. It was like my mom was like my personal God in skin, goddess in flesh. And so once she left, it was like, oh, I actually got to do my own work. I've got to work this out for myself. I've got to make a deeper connection to God. That's where I was at that time. And so all of this combined really pushed me into searching for what was the truth. That was ultimately the question I needed the answer to. What is the truth? And ultimately, that is the question that I have right now. By the time this was around 99, this is when I really said, I'm drawing a line in the sand, and I'm going to go ahead and jump and fly. And I don't care what anyone thinks. I've got to do this, because I felt like I was dying a slow death, being something I wasn't, which is Christian. I wasn't vibing it. And I don't knock this. And I always qualify this, because I respect everyone's spiritual path. Okay. If that's what people do, that's fine. Doesn't even matter if it's Muslim or Hindu, Buddhism, all the variations. I want people to be on the path that is for them. And so right around 99, close to the end of 99, I just was fed up. I was feeling like even asking Christians questions, like I'm trying to figure out. One of the main questions I had was, why is God he? Why is God not she? and answers just weren't coming in a way that made sense to me. The other one that used to tick me off is, you'll know by and by. You can't know everything when you're alive. And I'm thinking, but the question is here now. While I am alive, I want to know. And so at the end of 99, I just said, you know what? I just want to know, what is the truth, God? I don't care what the truth is. It does not have to look any particular way. I just want to know the truth. And with that, I found two books. One is called The Lost Books of the Bible, and the other one is called The Book Your Church Doesn't Want You to Read. And I started reading those books, and it showed me which I already knew this, the myriad versions of the Bible out there that exist, and how many stories out there are the same. It's just told differently within the different traditions. The Lost Books of the Bible made sense to me because I was raised Catholic, and the Catholic Bible has books that are not in the King James Version, the NIV and all that. And so just to read these different books and to see different aspects of Jesus that I had never seen before, I was like, I'm done. I'm going to find the truth. That's all I want. That's all I want is the truth. And that is how I got started on my journey. And that was what helped me to push past the fear, which is something that we need to be doing this year, y'all. Pushing past fears. So if you're afraid to get started, hey, I didn't see that you had hopped on, Jamie G. Yes. If you are hearing the call and afraid, it's really, I just say go for it. There's so much more to my story, but what I can say is once I made that leap, I felt so free. I didn't feel like I was dying, living some spiritual tradition that's not mine. And I still, because my husband is Christian, I go to church. I support my husband. He's a pastor. I go and support him. I'm not knocking Christianity, but I will say that I don't feel bound to believe anything in particular other than the truth as it is revealed to me. And for me, the ultimate truth is knowing who and what I am. And understanding who and what I am, I'm able to find a deeper level of joy, peace, happiness, because I'm using my gifts, I'm using my talents. So I'm a truth seeker. If you want to know my real religion, truth. That's all I care about is truth. So with that, I do want to tell y'all that I feel I'm going through a shift in terms of how I share. I've always been on here sharing different things that come to me. Will always do that because that's who and what I am. I've always told people I do readings. If you want a reading, you can go to my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com. I do feel that I'm being called to do things on in a greater way. I'll say it that way, not necessarily higher level, but definitely more expansive. And so I feel that sometimes people, number one, I know sometimes people don't have a lot of money, and my readings are actually extensive. They're worth more than I charge for them or whatever, but I do like to keep things affordable. So one of the things that I thought I could do if people are interested, and you can let me know if this is for you or not, is I can do readings using the super chat. Now, of course, if I do readings via the super chat, I'm pulling a card. I'm staying general because we don't want to go too deep publicly. But you could always do a super chat of like $5 or more, and I'll pull a card for you. And to a certain degree, I want to do this so that people can actually see what a reading looks like for me. What I will do is show y'all the oracle deck that I use. And I'm sorry I sound so crazy, but it's in my nose, this little cold that I have. How many of y'all have seen the Metanetter oracle deck? I have shared it a little bit. I don't always share the cards that I pull, but So if I'm keeping 100, and if today I will do a reading if anybody wants one, like I said, a mini reading, uh, $5 or more if you want. I'll pull a card. If you want to ask a specific question, then just let me know and I can ask the oracle for you. But for me, what has been pivotal in this shift or me embracing this path that I'm on is me being somebody of African descent. I like to see Afro gods and goddesses. It's to a certain degree, it's part of what makes me unique is anyone can listen to what I'm talking about. To me, it just seems like Afro is something that people are loving nowadays. It doesn't matter what their ethnicity is. All right, Jamie, you tell me what your question is, and I got you, sis. Or if you want me just to pull a card. So let me know if you want me just to pull a card for you, okay? A general card reading, or do you need do you want to ask a specific question? Okay. But I love for us who are brown, we need to see this. We need to realize that this is from whence we come, okay? And I think everybody deserves to have God in their made in their image. So do we Afros. Okay, so this is for Jamie. Pulling a card. Okay, so this is called Geb, Jamie. And what this card signifies is two things to focus on right now. First and foremost, focus on your health. And secondly, focus on your resources. So the element that I would say you most need to be working with right now is the earth element, because Geb represents the earth. And this is one of the reasons it has to do with health. And so it's important for you to make sure that you are, have healthy routines. If you have some health issues going on, if those could be what are creating issues for you in other areas of your life. So whenever I see a Geb reading, I really need to focus on my health. Even if I feel like I'm good, it could be that something's coming down the pipeline and I really and truly need to be cautious of what's happening. A lot of times for me with Geb, it may be there is a certain kind of food that I'm eating that I need to change that food. Like for me, sugar was wrecking my life. As soon as I got rid of sugar, it's like a lot of things have changed and transformed in my life. So definitely you need to work on your eating. You need to work on your physical health in general. I can't remember, and I'll tell you how to work this element, Jamie. What is your rising sign, Jamie? Working with the earth element, first and foremost, going outside, getting into nature. This is another thing that I tell people whenever I pull the Geb card. Libra, then that means that, let me see here, Pisces. Okay, so for you, the sixth house, oh, you're Libra, rising sun and moon. So for me, this would relate to your sixth house, Jamie. And what I say that you need to do, because your sixth house is Pisces and Neptune is actually there right now. But do you take good care of yourself, or are you negligent of yourself? With Pisces being there, it's like you really need to be going out of your way to take good care of yourself. Because Pisces, it has sort of like the kind of energy of where people don't take care of themselves. They're negligent. They're busy taking care of everybody else. Okay. So this is what you must do, Jamie, because this card is speaking in the negative. You must work with that sixth house. This is how I link Jamie, thank you for taking me up on this, because people can see how I'm able to link things for them. Okay. Because this is telling me about health, but your chart is giving me even more details about your health. So I like linking the oracle with astrology. So for you, with Pisces being there and this speaking in the negative, it's like things aren't going to get going if you do not take care of your health. You've got to take care of your health. And to a certain degree, well, for you, the earth element, or what you need to work with, is actually water. Yeah, you need to work with water. You need to be taking nurturing baths. Do you drink enough water? Working with your lymph system. And one of the ways I work with my lymph system, and I'm be honest with y'all, I can't remember exactly what the lymph does, other than I think it has something to do with helping to keep everything moving, so that, sickness doesn't get set into different parts of our bodies or whatever, helps us to get well. But are you familiar with dry body brushing, as well as rebounding? Yeah, okay. It purifies. So because your sixth house is Pisces, then you need to work with that lymph system to help, get your body. I don't know. It's just something about the lymph. It's something about the lymph that if it ain't right, my mother actually, part of the way she died was it was related to the breast cancer moving into her lymph nodes. So, dry body brushing, jumping or rebounding on a trampoline, but also getting in water, getting in the swimming pool. I would say the goddesses that you can work with, the goddess that I would recommend you work with is Yemoja. And so using things like lavender and jasmine, so you can put that in your bath, take a nice relaxing bath, and invoke the energy of Yemoja. Get a blue candle, light that blue candle, and you can invoke the energy of Yemoja and ask her to bring that healing that you need. And also for you, Jamie, nurturance. You need to find somebody who you feel comfortable with enough to love on you, to hug you, to stroke you in a very motherly, nurturing way. One of the things I do is I find older women and ask them to, I'll just go and get a hug from them, because, older women, they always want to be your mama. I'm 49, and someone could be like 64 and she's going to act like she old enough to be my mom. So, really connect with an older woman who can sort of be nurturing if you don't already have somebody like that in your life. Working on your feet. So, for instance, getting reflexology, going to get your feet worked on, having a spa day. And can you get away, Jamie? Because Pisces is about getting away. Can you get away? That's something else that if you can find a way to just like unplug from the world and just to be quiet and to be within yourself, that would be something else. And then another thing that I would recommend with you having Pisces there is to make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure you're getting enough good sleep. You want to make sure that you have routines that help you to be able to, before you actually get in the bed and start going to sleep. What are you doing leading up to that time? And then when you get in the bed, how do you keep yourself in a calm manner so that you can begin to check out and get some good sleep? I also recommend using, I use Simple Habit to put some type of like a meditation, or sometimes it's just the sound of rain. You might even be able to find it on a YouTube video where it's just like the sounds of nature. But definitely you need to get out into nature, go sit by a body of water. You can offer to Yemoja oranges in the river or the ocean. I don't know where you live, in a stream nearby. Even if you can't get to that body of water, then just in your house, get some oranges, put them in front of a blue candle, and say to Yemoja, I need you to help me heal, Yemoja. Okay. And you're going to be looking for what's coming to you that are opportunities for you to be nurtured, for you to be loved on, and for you to be healed. Now, the last thing that I'll give to you is this card has to do with abundance. And so you might feel like the resources, be it money, relationships, or just the resources that you need are not there. And so what you're being called to do is to open your abundance consciousness to to being able to receive that which you say you want. Because Gab is about the resources, and because it's speaking in the negative, it's saying that you might be having some abundance issues right now. And abundance issues are really, what's the word I want to use? It's a condition that can be changed. It's to a certain degree a reflection of, what's in our, how healthy or not is our abundance consciousness. And so for you, Libra, Scorpio, um, you, Jamie, might be somebody who needs to work in partnership with somebody, having shared resources, finding people who are willing to invest in you, because your second house is Scorpio. The second house, to a certain degree, has to do, well, it has to do with our personal finances. But I think that you, Jamie, could be doing some type of spiritual work to help open up this abundance consciousness. So, do you have a skill or some kind of way that you are able to like get out in the marketplace and make money outside of a job? That's something else that I would recommend to you. Just because I relate Scorpio to Oya, and Oya is about being out in the marketplace. So yeah, at the very least, listen to things that kind of help shift your mind regarding abundance and well-being, that help to open your mind up so that you don't see lack, you only see the abundance. And listening, maybe putting into your ear, like something that goes, what's the word I'm looking for? The affirmations, retraining your brain to see the abundance. A real easy thing to do that we should do every day, no matter me, you, and everyone else out there, is to give gratitude, to be grateful. Be thankful for everything in your life. Give gratitude, or just be grateful, give thanks is what I'm trying to say, for everything in your life. So I hope that helps, Jamie. Thank you so much. I hope that helps. So yeah, this is the Oracle deck that I use. And the card that I pulled is Geb. Geb is the earth. It has to do with health. Nice, nice. So what I'll say is, Jamie says she's been doing some self-love work and gratitude work. And that is definitely working with Yemanjá too, that self-love work. Good. Is sometimes the oracle will confirm that you're headed in the right direction. Okay. Sometimes the oracle will confirm that you're headed in the right direction. So if anybody else out there would like for me to pull a card for them, I would be more than willing to do so. Again, this is the Metu Oracle deck, and maybe one day I'll kind of go through. I've already touched on Geb, so I won't go too much more into detail, but maybe I'll touch on the deities a little bit for you all. I do want you all to know that I have put out yes, I forgot to say, the Real Sunshine, that I'm pulling those for those who give $5 or more in the super chat. That's how I'm doing. These are mini readings that I'm doing, so that first of all, people can get a reading for a very affordable price. Hey, Tamaya, how are you? People can get readings for affordable price, as well as see how I do this. So $5 in the super chat. Okay, so Jamie, the way to work with the earth element is to get out into nature, to go outside, because Geb is the earth and it relates to abundance. And there's no better way to connect with abundance than being outside in nature, because that's actually where the Orisha are. And when we go outside in nature, like stand on the earth barefooted, if you have some place where you can go stand on, like at a park or something, and go stand on the grass barefooted, do that. But you wanting to connect with go walk in the forest. And what ends up happening is the energy of being out in nature, it resets you. Okay. Another way to work with the earth is to work with your own personal earth. And that is through making sure that you are eating food that is beneficial to your body. Because what ends up happening is our bodies, which is our own personal earth, ends up distracting us. So yeah, even if you go out and you are, even though this is water, is still connected to being out in nature, which is earthy, going sitting at the ocean or the lake, working with the energy of Yemaja there, that's still working with the energy of the earth. But yeah, a lot of times this is going to confirm. And what I would recommend that you do, Jamie, if you haven't taken notes, to once I post this, go back, replay this, take some notes so that you remember everything that I told you, because that's a powerful reading. Gab is, to me, one of my favorite. I don't like getting Gab negative. I don't like getting negative, period. And let me explain to you what negative means. Negative means that there are challenges. It doesn't mean it's a bad reading, you're a negative person. It means that that there are blocks and challenges for you to overcome. But if you listen to the wisdom of the oracle, then you can make it, you will be able to make it through these challenges. It's telling you what you need to do. So for Jamie, for instance, I pulled Gab, negative. And there's actually 2 negatives, 2 positives, and a Hetep. But anywho, so negative means there's challenges. And the way to overcome is through Gab, which is what I described to Jamie. So if she or anyone who were to get a Gab reading were to follow this, then it'll tell you what you need to do in order to break free. It's sort of like telling you this is how you're blocked. That's the beauty of getting an oracle reading. It shows you how you're blocked. And for me, knowing people's charts, even if I don't know your chart, if you know what your rising sign is, I can still give you some good general information without looking at your chart that makes it more specific to you. So knowing that birth time is good. If you don't know your birth time, I get quite a bit from following my moon sign as well as my sun sign, even though the moon sign is a little questionable if you don't have your time of birth. But what I do in my inner circle is there's 2 levels, well, really 3 levels where there's readings. And I just recently released the reading for August. And that, I was just so excited to see. I was so excited to see how good things are going to be for August. But as you can see, the way I did this with Jamie, I was able to give her some things that she can do. Because in my opinion, I like getting wisdom, but if no one tells me what to do, then it's sort of like, and that's one of the reasons I shared my story with you all this morning, to let you all know we all start off scared. But if we can begin to take the steps and follow what the wisdom tells us. So I was scared, but Iyanla said, pour libations to the ancestors and bless your head. And I just was like, I'm going to do it. And I got results. This is what you're looking for. You will begin to make progress. You know that perhaps what you're doing may not be the best if you never move ahead. Okay? So, in the readings that I share, the monthly wisdom is only $10 a month. I give the wisdom for the month. I go over astrology. I give practical steps that people can take. And what I'm finding is that when I follow this wisdom, and I even create a journal, even though I need to create the journal for August, I wasn't feeling well, so I haven't created that journal yet. I have to create it. But I went back and looked at my July journal from that reading, and I was checking off quite a bit. I got quite a bit done. I was like, wow, I've made progress in one lunar cycle. Um, so that's that. And then the weekly readings make it even more specific, so that it's like day by day, I know what to expect. I can sort of plan on days when I'm going to be more productive. So like today, the moon is in Virgo. And what I like about the moon being in Virgo is that I can get things done, because Virgo is about get her done, baby. We're gonna get this list of things to do list together. And we're gonna start checking this list off, because Virgo is like action. We want to take action, and Virgo is about organizing, and also it's about getting rid of stuff that it's about purging and releasing and all that kind of good stuff. So for the people that get these readings from me, I go through the lunar cycles. I go through a lot, actually. And you're able to know which days are you going to be most productive and which days. So for instance, for you, Jamie, knowing that the moon, or excuse me, your sixth house is Pisces, and you need to be working on yourself. When the moon goes in Pisces, that will be a good time for you to make plans to really work on your health. And Jamie, I encourage you to use this moon in Virgo to create structure for those routines. So even if all you do is create two things, like you say, I'm going to do these two things every day. I'm only focused on two things right now for the next lunar cycle. That's going to help you begin to create more structure, because this is something that you really and truly have to work at, because it's Pisces. Pisces makes things go away, and it makes you have no boundaries. And this is how people, end up getting in trouble. Hey, Monica, thank you. Let me know, do you want me just to pull a card for you, or do you have a specific question that you would like for me to address for you? Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. I was sort of nervous about doing this because I don't like looking like some, El Cheapo type person, but I asked the Oracle about everything. And the Oracle said, absolutely offer readings to people via super chat. Okay, pull a card. So yeah, y'all get out y'all's notepads. Hopefully if I do this on a regular basis and y'all like it, I'll remember to tell y'all before, but pull out a notepad. But good news is there's a replay of this video that will be here. Monica, here we go. Oh, this is for Monica. Monica Peak. Okay. Here we go. So you have had Haru, Monica, and it's interesting that I pulled this card today. This is the same energy as Oshun. And of course, today is Friday, right, y'all? I'm telling you, I have been out of it. Okay, so today is Friday. So interesting that I've pulled this for you today. Anytime I pull, let's say it's Friday and I pull Het Haru, then I'm feeling like, okay, this is very interesting. This is very telling. I think that the messages come in so many different ways. And so for you, Monica, this is about you opening up to your ability to manifest. This is about the law of attraction. And it's you opening up to your inner joy and your creativity. Now, she's also speaking in the negative. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's sort of bright. And so what this is saying is that you may not be real happy right now. You may feel like you're lacking joy. That you also may feel like you're not having a lot of fun, and or to a certain degree, you may feel like you're missing out on romance, because this is an energy that has to do with like love and romance. Heteru is the energy of fun and enjoyment. And I also relate this energy to Taurus. So it's like you might be feeling like, hey, I need to get out and just do some things that I really like to do, like enjoy the simple pleasures that I really like to enjoy. You may be feeling like, I want to be more creative. I'm not creative enough. So this is a time for you. The best remedy whenever you see Heharu Oshun is to do something creative. It could be your own, um, whatever you do for creativity, or it could be you going out and engaging someone else's creativity. So maybe you go to a play, or you go watch a show, you go to an art gallery. Maybe you're not into pottery, but you go to a place, they have all these places where you can go do pottery and, paint it and all that kind of good stuff. May not be your thing necessarily, but it makes you really open up that creative energy. Could be that you want to get creative with cooking or something like that. What is your rising sign? Do you have like a Taurus or Libra in your chart that you know of? Because if that's the case, that energy is needing you to really access it. The other thing about this is it's about being joyful. And so for you, if you're doing things where you don't feel joyful, either you need to reframe it so that you do feel joyful. So for instance, sometimes I get so tired of feeling like I'm a maid in my house. And I'll tell myself, you know what, this is how I'm going to find my joy. My kids are not going to be here forever. So I'm grateful. I really enjoy my kids being here because I know one day they're going to be gone. I just reframe it to find my joy. Okay. What's your rising sign, Monica? And rising, okay. Okay. Rising is Virgo. So for you, I think that it's important for you to write down when you are going to go and have fun. When was the last time you had fun? You need to pencil in on your calendar exactly the moments you are going to go and do things just for the sake of fun. You need to schedule it. You need to put structure into it. Because otherwise for you, it may not happen with you being a Virgo rising, because Virgo is like a workaholic. And so Virgo has to sort of like make themselves go and have fun. This is not an easy sign to be born under. And so, it's a sign where a lot of times you're carrying the burden of a lot of people on you, but you do have to make time for yourself, Monica. And so you need to go and schedule in time to have fun. The other thing too is this energy is about flexibility. And with you being, this earthy Virgo side, sometimes you may not feel super flexible. As a matter of fact, with you being a Virgo rising, it's a lot of doubt that you may have, but it's killing your inner creativity. It's important for you to find ways. And I'm going to tell you another thing that I would recommend is that you find ways to tap into your inner sensuality, because this is Oshun. This is Heteru. This is a very sensual energy. And so things that you can do that are real easy would be things like dress up, put on stuff you're not used to wearing. Okay. Put on something colorful. Do not go, sometimes Virgo energy can be a little conservative in colors. Put on colors that you never would think you would wear. So it's Leo season. I say go put on something yellow, something bright. Okay, put on these colors. This is the color of Heteru, yellow and green. Go put on some yellow and green something, right? Spruce up your hair, put on makeup, really invoke this energy. of inner beauty and sensuality, because it's saying you may not be feeling beautiful, you may not be feeling super sensual, and that is going to be hampering. If you got all these negative feelings about yourself, it's hampering you connecting to what you really want to do. It's really, to a certain degree, like messing up your ability to actually manifest what you want in your life. Okay, very good. Very good. So then maybe you need to get out and go dance. You need to get out and go move your body. Do you dance a lot? And if you're dancing, okay, yes, bright colors. And if you're dancing, then it's time for you to go on ahead and start doing the things that you actually really love. Because like I said, Virgo is the type of energy that it carries the burden of a lot of people on it. And so like you really going to have to force yourself to like you have to get out of your comfort zone. I think that this card is indicating you're not in this space of creativity where it's like this whole Leo season that I'm talking about, where you're shining brightly, you're doing you, boo. You're not making any, you're not saying, I you're not making any, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, you make no apologies for what you love to do. You know, it's like I think you really need to tap into Oshun. Like you need to be Oshun. Of course, you know, you work with honey to work with Oshun. You can offer her honey. You can eat just a little bit of honey, just a little bit, you know, just to connect with that energy of Oshun. Honeysuckle, vetiver, those of her, sandalwood, those are scents that you can put in your bath, incense that you can burn. Dance, even if you don't go out and dance with other people, but I think you should. I think you need to get out. You need to get out and socialize and be with other people and experiencing like the good things in life. Have you been doing that here lately? Because this right here is the Ashe. This represents the Ashe. This represents, you know, our life force energy. And so this is how we connect to it. Okay. Okay. So yeah, it's time for you to have some fun, Monica, for the sake of having fun, in order to open yourself up and to feel that joy. Like if I could just bottom line it to anything, you're looking to feel joyful. That's what you want. You want to feel joyful. And it's Friday night, baby. Just got paid. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, go turn on some music, go dance with some people. What do you have a creative talent or like a creative hobby that you like to do? The last thing that I'll say, because it keeps coming in my head that I need to tell you, is you need to be more flexible. That's what this speaks to. With the speaking in the negative is saying it could be that you're not being flexible, and you need to be a little more flexible. I don't know if you need to be more flexible with your time, if you need to be more flexible with your opinion, if you need what you need to be more flexible with. But this is the energy of flexibility. Okay. So if you don't have a creative outlet, that's what you're looking for. And for Virgo rising, and I don't know where your Saturn is, but the best thing you can do as a Virgo rising is to schedule in, I'm going to go do this creative thing. You have to write it down on your calendar and tell yourself, I'm going to do it no matter what. Nope, can't do anything for anybody else right now. Schedule in this good time for myself. So that is what I would say about Heteru. Let's see if she says anything else. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would say. I hope that helps. Okay, well, I hope that people have benefited from seeing what I do when I do readings for people. That's actually scratching the surface, but actually I went sort of, I mean, I try to go all in as much as I can because I really and truly love helping people. And one of the reasons, I'll share this and then I'm going to run because I've got to make this week's reading for the Inner Circle members. One of the reasons I go all in the way that I do is this memory that I told you all about today. Very good. Woo! I always like to make sure people get help. Oh, one last thing. You also can benefit from going to the river, to a lake, to the ocean. I even say ocean. I know that's Yemanjá, but it's water because Heteru Oshun is a water deity. Typically, the river, I don't care what the body of water is, just go, it could be a stream. But you would benefit from going and sitting near a stream and asking Oshun to open up more within you, Monica. Okay. But I remember what it was like to feel completely lost. That's really my point. To feel like I was at the crossroads. You know, when we talk about Eshu Elegua, one of the things we talk about is him. He stands at the crossroads. And to be at the crossroads and just be miserable knowing that I'm being pointed in a particular direction, but everything in me and around me is saying, don't go in that direction because it's wrong, it's evil, whatever. I don't know where I'm going. I don't really know if it's true, all of that. I really know what it's like. I also know what it's like to be in pain, not so much physical pain, but mental, emotional, spiritual pain, where every day was sort of, for me at some point, every day was sort of dark. And I was just, it was these wounds and, these wounds and these inner demons that plagued me. And I give thanks to people like Iyanla Van Zant and so many people out there, especially my godparents, Oshanike and Kolioso, for doing the work that they did so that I could have some people to work with me to help me be able to inch by inch by inch get to a place where I felt like I was able to stand on my own 2 feet. And that's my goal. That's why I do what I do. I feel like when you share truth, it gives people an opportunity to let their mind go to a bigger place, a more expanded place. And then once people are at that place, they are able to take steps that people like me and other folks that show folks how to do this kind of work for themselves, they're able to take steps. And yeah, there are times when I really needed my godmother to hold my hand. But typically, my godmother and my godfather, they've all been like, here's the tool. I'm going to show you how to use it because we want you to know that you are the ultimate healer of your own self. So that's what I want to do for you all. But I do know that it takes a lot of work, for instance, to read the Metanetter. Has anyone out there read the Metanetter? Oh, wow, Monica. Nice. Very nice that you're across the street from a river. Man, I'm jealous. I need to go stand at the local river where I live. But has anyone ever read the Metanetter? If you have read the Metanetter, you are a bad mama jamma. Because I'm telling you, I had to read this book 3 times. And I had to do multiple readings in order to learn how to do this Oracle deck. So I accept that part of my job is to make sure I know these oracles so that, if you need deeper readings, you can do it. But ultimately, my goal is to share what I know so that you can do the work for yourself. I'm not, as my godparents said, I seek no followers. Though I do appreciate y'all for subscribing to me here on YouTube. You know what? I love y'all. I really appreciate you for joining me today. And let me know if you learned anything new from seeing me do a live reading. Monica and Jamie, I send you so much light, so much love. And I just know that this is what I always tell people when I do readings for them. If you follow what this reading has given to you, because this is your part of the reading, if you follow what the wisdom of the oracle is, you're going to see results. And I want you to let me know, because I just know y'all are going to follow what this oracle said. Y'all not going to waste y'all's money, right? So I want you to let me know, what changes did you make based on the wisdom given to you by the oracle, and let me know how things turned out for you. All right. To everyone out there, I wish you love. I want you to remember that we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. Our ancestors love us. They support us. They're cheering us on. We are not alone. This is Tyra Omilade. Thank you so much. Check me out at my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com, or in Patreon in my inner circle, patreon.com/goddessbodymindspirit. You all have a wonderful, productive, Virgo-esque weekend. Peace. Thank you.